Hi everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I am here with a card project for you today featuring the Ciao add-on kit. This is Studio Calico's add-on card kit for the month of June, and it's available today over at their website. And I just thought I'd quickly show you some of the things that come in the kit. You get these adorable heart clips and then a couple of star pins that you can poke through. You saw something similar to those in last month's kit. And then this adorable stamp set. Now you can add these dies on that coordinate with the stamp set. Those are sold separately, but I will be using both of those today. And then the papers for this month are some of my favorites. I love the bright colors and patterns in this kit, and I just thought I'd flip through them really quick and show those to you here. Just a really fun palette. And then I'm going to pick out a few of these papers to use on today's card. So I'm going to use that really bold stripe in a very small amount. Don't worry, it's not going to be overwhelming. I'm going to use this herringbone and also this star pattern. And I go back later and grab something else. But this is how the dies come, and so I need to prepare those in the meantime to cut and stamp. So I'm just taking some wire snips or some wire cutters and just cutting these apart. Now, if you were to cut this with it just like that, you would have an elephant with a banner cut out of his bum. So you do have to cut these apart. And then those inner little wires that are kind of left, I like to trim those real short. So I've gone ahead and cut 3 of each of the flag, the elephant, and the hearts out of just some plain white cardstock, and I'm getting ready to stamp those. I'm going to start by stamping the elephant. This is Clean Slate Ink by Studio Calico. I just stamped him right down on there, and you can see what a fun little guy he is. I'm going to also stamp the flag or the banner shape, but this time I'm going to use the VersaFine Black Onyx ink. It's one of my favorite black inks, so you'll see me mount it on there. I inked it up and then just stamped it right down on there. Perfect fit, and I just love the way the dies and the stamps coordinate. The last thing I'm going to stamp are going to be these little red hearts, and I'm using the Well Red ink from Studio Calico, and I went ahead and just stamped 3 of those, and then I'm going to finish off by stamping this Welcome Little One sentiment in the flag, and I just kind of tested out my stamp there on a piece of scrap cardstock. I like to do that when I'm stamping with a stamp for the first time, just to get a feel for it. So you can see how perfectly that fits, and there are a couple other sentiments that fit in there as well. And this is where I brought in the green paper as well, because I felt like the elephant stood off of this better than the other pattern papers, but don't worry, I'm going to use those as well. I wanted to mount my elephant on a circle shape. I just thought that would be a fun backdrop for him, so I went ahead and cut that out of the green paper, and I will cut a bigger one later on. And then I'll bring in these other pattern papers, and I'm just going to cut varying widths. So I'm going to start with this herringbone pattern and cut about 1/2 inch of that. And the star pattern, I'm going to cut about a quarter of an inch of that. And then finally, I will bring in that striped paper. Now, notice the way I'm going to cut it. I'm going to get the most colors. If I were to cut it in the opposite direction, I would only get 1, maybe 2 of these colors, but I put the cutting edge along to where I would get all of those colors. And I just cut like 1/8 of an inch strip of that. This is a really fun accent, and you can see how fun it coordinates with the others. I have a piece of white cardstock here. It's just Nina Solar white cardstock. I'm cutting it at 5.5, and then I will score it at 4.25 and just fold that down with my bone folder to make a nice crease. Now that I have all that prepared, I can go ahead and start kind of arranging my things on the card. This is kind of how I'm thinking I want it, but it's going to take a little finagling to get it just perfect. The first thing I want to do, I'm just kind of laying this out, and you'll see me kind of fuss with everything, but the first thing I want to do is get that circle right. And so I went back and cut that out of a larger circle, and I just mounted that on there and trimmed off the excess, and that created a much better scale for that circle on this card. So now that I have the circle, the right scale and the right size and the right paper, I'm going to start working with getting my pieces arranged. Now I know I want the elephant on some foam adhesive as well as the banner, so I went ahead and put those on there, and then this is where I'm just kind of fiddling with the strips to make them the right kind of lengths and layering them up right. So I end up bringing in just a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut the herringbone pattern paper just at an angle along the bottom here. So just adding a little bit of an angle to that. And then the star pattern paper, I'm going to cut into a banner shape by cutting down the middle and then from each of the corners into that slit. And that will just create a banner shape on that. Now to adhere these little strips of paper, I like to use a liquid glue because it is so thin of a strip. It's 1/8 of an inch wide. I just find that this Tombow Mono multi-glue works best for me, and I just run a tiny little strip of that down the center of my paper, and then I can mount that up just slightly from the bottom of that herringbone. I like to have the herringbone show out the bottom of that the striped paper, because I just feel like it's better than having it flush with the bottom. It shows more of that. I decided to place the star on there with some regular adhesive, and then the herringbone strip will be popped up as well. So I use my grid mat to kind of line those all up there, and then when I get them mounted down right where I want them, I can go ahead and place my elephant, and I can arrange the hearts the way that I want them to, and those are also on foam adhesive. Now I'm looking at this card and I feel like it just needs one more little thing, one more little touch. So I brought in my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper and just rounded that bottom left edge. And that finished off my card for today. I had a lot of fun creating with the stamps and the pattern papers in this Ciao add-on kit. I hope you enjoyed this project as well. Remember, you can get information on all the products over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I also have links in the YouTube description for all the products as well. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope you have a fabulous day.